Hey there, fellow history enthusiasts, and welcome back to Tactical History. I'm your host, the Tactical Historian. You'll have to bear with me as I'm just getting over a cold, but today we're delving into a topic that might just give you a whole new perspective on the inner workings of government. The U.S. Continuity of Government Plan. Now, I know what you're thinking. Continuity of government, huh? Sounds like a plot from a Hollywood movie? But trust me, this is one rabbit hole you won't want to miss. Why are we shining a light on the continuity of government plan? Well, my friends, understanding this plan is like peeling back the layers of a classified onion. In times of crisis, be it natural disasters, terrorist attacks, or other unforeseen events, maintaining the smooth functioning of our government is of paramount importance. We're talking about ensuring that the wheels of power keep turning no matter what the circumstances. So think of this plan as the ultimate contingency. A blueprint to keep the ship afloat, even in the stormiest seas. Alright folks, so let's start by defining what exactly this continuity of government plan is all about. At its core, this plan is like a masterclass in governmental survival tactics. Picture this, a comprehensive playbook that outlines how the U.S. government will continue to function smoothly and efficiently in the face of extreme disruptions. We're talking about scenarios that can range from natural disasters to large-scale enemy attacks that could potentially wipe out key leadership and infrastructure. Now, let's take a journey back in time, unraveling the historical tapestry that gave birth to the continuity of government plan. Our story begins during a period of global tension, a time when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear conflict, the Cold War. Imagine the atmosphere. It's the 20th century, and the United States and its adversaries are locked in a high-stakes geopolitical standoff. The threat of nuclear war casts a shadow over everyday life, with the potential of unimaginable destruction hanging in the balance. As the two superpowers, the US and the Soviet Union, engaged in a tense arms race, leaders on both sides grappled with the ominous prospect of an all-out nuclear exchange. In the midst of this tense backdrop, a pressing question emerged. What happens to the government if disaster strikes? What if a nuclear strike wipes out key leadership, vital infrastructure, and communication networks? It was against this backdrop of uncertainty that the seeds of the continuity of government plan were sown. Leaders recognized that in a scenario where traditional government operations could be incapacitated by a sudden and catastrophic event, a strategic blueprint was needed. This blueprint aimed to ensure that the continuity of leadership and governance, even in the face of the gravest threats. The idea was to safeguard the nation's ability to respond, make decisions, and maintain order in the aftermath of crisis. During the Cold War, the plan evolved as technology advanced and the nature of potential threats changed. The development of secure communication systems and the establishment of fortified bunkers allowed for more sophisticated strategies for government continuity. These measures were rooted in the very essence of national survival, a means to prevent chaos from descending upon the nation if the unthinkable occurred. The first major iteration of the plan was developed in the early 1960s under President John F. Kennedy, who established a program known as Operation Alert to test the government's ability to respond to a nuclear attack. The goal was to simulate a nuclear attack scenario and evaluate how various government agencies and personnel would respond. During the exercise, one particular incident stood out. As part of the drill, high-ranking officials, including Kennedy and other members of his cabinets, were supposed to be evacuated to secure bunkers to ensure government continuity. However, in the midst of the evacuation process, it became apparent that the wives of the officials had been left behind at the White House. That's right, the evacuation process was not as smooth as intended, and the First Lady, as well as the wives of some other key officials, found themselves still in the White House while their husbands were taken to the secure locations. The story goes that they sat around playing cards, waiting for a bomb that they didn't expect. that thankfully would never come, while their husbands were ushered off to safety. This oversight highlighted a significant flaw in the plan's execution: the lack of consideration for the well-being and safety of the families of government officials. In 1963, President Kennedy issued National Security Action Memorandum 200, which directed government agencies to develop plans for the continuity of government operations in the event of a nuclear war. Over the years, the continuity of government plan has evolved and expanded to include a wide range of potential emergency scenarios, including natural disasters, terrorist attacks, and pandemics even. Here's a short list of times that we know about that the continuity of government plan, or at least part of it, has been activated. September 11th, 2001. Terrorist attacks. Following the September 11th terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, elements of the COG plan were activated to ensure government continuity and maintain essential operations. Vice President Dick Cheney was moved to a secure location, and various agencies took measures to ensure their ability to function. October 2001. Anthrax attacks. In the wake of the anthrax attacks that followed the September 11th attacks, there were concerns about the potential spread of biological agents. The COG plan was activated to ensure the safety of government officials and maintain operations. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, there were discussions about invoking elements of the COG plan to ensure government functions were maintained. However, the full COG plan was not officially activated. 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic. While not a full activation of the COG plan, the COVID-19 pandemic prompted government agencies to take measures to ensure continuity of operations and remote work capabilities. Some agencies activated elements of their continuity plans to ensure essential functions continued. It's fascinating to think about the minds behind this plan, the policymakers who were tasked with envisioning a world where the unimaginable became a real possibility. They recognized the need for strategy that transcended politics, a plan that would ensure the survival of the government itself, a testament to the lengths that leaders were willing to go to protect the nation and its democratic principles. As we reflect on this historical journey, it becomes clear that the continuity of government plan wasn't just a product of its time. It was a response to the anxieties and the uncertainties that defined an era. While the Cold War may have ended, the lessons learned from those days continue to shape how we prepare for crisis and navigate the challenges of the modern world. But why even bother with such an elaborate plan, you might ask? Well, my friends, the purpose is crystal clear. When the world seems like it's crumbling around you, you need to ensure that someone's still steering the ship. The primary goal of the continuity of government plan is to maintain essential government functions, command structures, and decision-making capabilities in times of utter chaos. It's about preventing power vacuums and ensuring that even when the chips are down, the United States government can stand tall and keep making those tough calls. Alright, so let's dive into the inner workings of this survival toolkit, the key components that make the continuity of government plan a strategic masterpiece. At the heart of the plan are secure and secret bunkers, often nestled deep within the earth or hidden in remote locations. These bunkers are meticulously designed to withstand a range of potential threats from nuclear blast to biological or chemical attacks. Think of them as fortified command centers equipped with everything essential for sustaining life in government operations. These bunkers are more than just concrete and steel. They're self-sufficient mini-cities, complete with living quarters, communication centers, and even medical facilities. They provide a safe haven where key government officials can hunker down, strategize, and make crucial decisions, no matter what's happening outside. Here are some of the bunkers that we know about that could potentially make up the plan. Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. Located in Virginia, Mount Weather is one of the most well-known COG facilities. It serves as an emergency operations center for various federal agencies, including FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security. Its purpose is to provide a secure location for government officials to continue operations during crisis. The Raven Rock Mountain Complex, also known as Site R. This facility is situated in Pennsylvania and serves as an emergency relocation site for key members of Congress and other high-ranking officials. Its purpose is to ensure the continuity of legislative functions in the event of a catastrophic event. The Cheyenne Mountain Complex. Situated in Colorado, this complex houses the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD. Its purpose is to provide aerospace warning, aerospace control, and maritime warning to defend North America. While not exclusively a COG facility, it plays a critical role in national defense and continuity. The Greenbrier. Located in West Virginia, the Greenbrier is a luxury resort that also served as a potential COG facility. It was built to house the U.S. Congress in case of a nuclear attack. The facility was kept secret for many years before its existence was revealed. The Presidential Emergency Operations Center, or PEOC. Situated beneath the White House, the PEOC is designed to provide secure communication and coordination for the President and key officials during emergencies. It's intended to ensure that the highest levels of government can function even in the heart of crisis. Alternate Joint Communications Center, AJCC. This facility, often located in secure military installations, serves as a command and control center for military leaders during emergencies. It allows military operations to continue in the face of disruptions. Site B, Camp David, the Presidential Retreat. While not a traditional COG facility, Camp David in Maryland also serves as a secure location where the President can continue to carry out duties during times of crisis or national emergencies. Aside from secret bunkers and dedicated facilities, the COG plan also considers a range of alternative command locations to ensure the continuity of government operations. Some of these include the Looking Glass Aircraft. So, the Looking Glass Aircraft, also known as Airborne Command Post, or ACP, is a critical component to the COG plan. It's essentially a highly modified aircraft, often a Boeing E-6 Mercury, that serves as an airborne command and control center. The aircraft is equipped with advanced communication system and personnel who can assume the roles of key government officials if ground-based facilities become unusable due to a crisis. The Looking Glass aircraft is designed to be airborne 24/7, ensuring continuous communication and decision-making capabilities even in the most dire of circumstances. Offshore oil rigs. Now, offshore oil platforms with their remote and self-sustaining nature have been considered as potential emergency command centers. These platforms could house key officials and communication equipment, ensuring operations continue away from the mainland. Also, naval vessels. In certain scenarios, naval vessels such as aircraft carriers or command ships can serve as mobile command centers. These vessels are equipped with advanced communication systems, allowing them to maintain coordination and decision-making capabilities while being at sea. And lastly, Air Force One. The President's aircraft, Air Force One, is equipped with advanced communication technology, making it a potential command center during emergencies. Its airborne capabilities and secure communication system could allow the President and key officials to continue operations while in the air. In a world where communication is paramount, the continuity of government plan takes this to a whole new level. Picture a sophisticated web of communication systems spanning landlines, satellite links, and encrypted radio channels. These networks ensure that top officials remain connected, even in the direst of circumstances. It's not just about picking up a phone. It's about maintaining a seamless flow of information between bunkers, allowing for rapid decision-making and coordination. This aspect of the plan is like the nerve center, enabling leaders to stay informed and connected, regardless of the chaos unfolding beyond their secure locations. Now, let's talk about who's in the driver's seat. When it comes to the continuity of government plan, it's not just a handful of individuals. It's a coordinated effort that involves multiple government agencies and officials from various branches. Okay, so picture this. Crisis hits, chaos ensues, and someone needs to step up and take charge. Enter the key personnel, the unsung heroes who were trained and designated to keep the government running when everything else seems to be falling apart. These individuals span across the executive, legislative, and judicial branches, ensuring that the government's vital functions continue to tick along. At the very top, you have the president and vice president, of course. But it doesn't stop there. Cabinet members, members of Congress, and even the Supreme Court justices are all part of the equation. The designated individuals are entrusted with responsibilities that mirror their roles in normal times, ensuring that the nation's decision-making capabilities remain intact. But how does this plan get put into action? Well, it's not a case of simply pressing a button and voila, the continuity of government plan kicks in. Instead, it's a carefully choreographed dance that involves a series of steps triggered by specific circumstances. Picture this scenario. A devastating attack wipes out a significant portion of the government's leadership. In this moment of crisis, a key official, often a high-ranking member of the cabinet, initiates the activation process. This individual is known as the designated successor. They send out a code word, often called the gold code, which serves as the metaphorical key that unlocks the plan. Once this code is transmitted, the wheels start turning. Designated personnel are alerted, and they begin moving to secure locations, often secret bunkers, where they continue their vital duties away from the chaos and danger. This relocation process ensures the government's top brass is safe and ready to steer the ship no matter what's happening outside. Alright, get ready to dive into the nitty-gritty of how the continuity of government plan swings into action. We've talked about the players and their roles, but let's unveil the sequence of steps that unfold when the plan is activated. Our journey begins with a designated successor, a high-ranking government official who's entrusted with the monumental responsibility of activating the plan. This individual possesses a top-secret code, often referred to as the gold code. When the designated successor gives the signal by transmitting this code, likely through a cell phone, the gears of the plan start turning. With the gold code transmitted, the designated key personnel are alerted. It's like a silent call to action, a signal that it's time to execute the well-rehearsed dance of government continuity. These key individuals are often high-ranking officials, including members of the President's cabinet, Congress, and other essential staff. Their presence is crucial for the functioning of government operations, and they're the linchpins that keep the system going. Here's a list of some of these key personnel. The President's cabinet includes various high-ranking officials responsible for major government departments, such as the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, and others. These individuals play crucial roles in the operation of the government and are often included in the COG plan to ensure continuity. Members of Congress, the legislative branch, also has a role in the COG plan. Certain key members of Congress, such as the Speaker of the House, Senate Majority Leader, and other leadership figures, might be included. Their involvement ensures that legislative functions can continue even during crisis. FEMA is an agency dedicated to disaster response and recovery. It plays a significant role in coordinating emergency efforts during crisis. In the COG plan, FEMA would likely have a central role in coordinating the government's response to a crisis and facilitating communication between various agencies. High-ranking military officers, such as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, are integral to the COG plan. They ensure that the military can continue to operate effectively, making strategic decisions and provide support as needed. Also, agencies like the Central Intelligence Agency and the National Security Agency play crucial roles in providing vital intelligence during crisis. Their involvement in the COG plan helps ensure that decision makers have access to critical information. Essential communication and technology personnel. In a world heavily reliant on technology and communication, experts who manage and maintain these systems are essential. IT specialists, communication officers, and technical experts would be included to ensure that the security of communication channels remain operational. And let's not forget our medical and health experts. The COG plan would likely include medical personnel and experts who can address health-related emergencies. These individuals would ensure that medical services and responses are maintained even in dire circumstances. These individuals include people like the Surgeon General, the the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, and the leading experts in different medical fields, including different doctors, surgeons, and scientists. Now picture this. Across the nation, key officials began a coordinated process of relocation. These moves aren't random. They're calculated, pre-planned, and executed swiftly. These individuals make their way to secure bunkers, as we mentioned, often located in remote undisclosed areas. For some, this is done by driving directions provided to the key personnel on the back of what looks like a business card. For others, it includes military escort, either by air, road, or for some, even underground tunnels that span massive distances across much of the U.S. These individuals have been assigned different priorities based on their role in government and the nature of the circumstance. Remember, the goal of the continuity of government plan is to ensure that the foundation of the nation remains intact. Once safely within the bunkers, these key officials assume their designated roles and continue the operations of government. Decision-making, coordination, and communication all continue without skipping a beat. The chain of command remains intact, ensuring that essential functions proceed smoothly. Think of it as a shadow government operating in parallel to the visible one. Here are some of the roles that this shadow government would be responsible for. And there you have it. A snapshot into the intricate sequence that unfolds when the continuity of government plan is activated, from the initial transmission of the gold code to the coordinated relocation and seamless continuation of operations. This plan is a symphony of preparedness, ensuring that even in the direst of circumstances, the gears of governance keep turning. So we've explored the mechanics that keep the government running in times of crisis, but no plan is without its skeptics. Today, we're taking a closer look at the criticisms that have been raised about this strategy. Alright, let's delve into a thought-provoking aspect of the continuity of government plan, one that intertwines the delicate threads of privacy, civil liberties, and national security. Imagine a world where crisis strikes, and the government's top officials vanish into secure bunkers, orchestrating their actions far away from the public eye. It's a scene straight out of a thriller, but for some, this scenario raises serious concerns about the potential implications for privacy and civil liberties. The heart of the matter lies in the secrecy and lack of transparency that characterize the activation of this plan. Critics argue that when the government's actions are shrouded in secrecy, it becomes difficult for the public to ascertain what decisions are being made, who's making them, and how they might impact individual lives. This opacity can give rise to mistrust, fueling suspicion and conspiracy theories. At the core of a democratic society is the principle that the people have the right to know what their government is doing. The continuity of government plan, while well-intended, can test this principle. Critics question whether this level of secrecy might infringe upon the public's right to be informed about critical decisions that could affect their lives and futures. As the lines between national security and individual rights blur, a complex dilemma emerges. How can a government balance the need to protect the nation during a crisis while also preserving the democratic principles that underpin it? Striking this balance requires navigating treacherous waters. Where does the line between classified information and public accountability lie? How much can be disclosed without compromising the effectiveness of the plan? These concerns are far from trivial. They touch upon the essence of what it means to live in a free society, where the government's actions are subject to scrutiny and the public's voice is valued. Critics argue that while the continuity of government plan aims to safeguard the nation, it must be implemented in a way that respects the fundamental rights and values that make our society strong. Another noteworthy criticism leveled against the continuity of government plan is that it primarily focuses on ensuring the continuity of government operations and leadership without adequately addressing the protection and well-being of the general population. While the plan is designed to safeguard the functioning of government, it may not provide concrete measures for ensuring the safety and survival of everyday citizens during crisis. Interestingly, some other countries have taken a different approach, designing bunkers and shelters to protect large portions of their general population in the event of emergencies. Countries like Switzerland, Sweden, and Russia are known to have extensive civil defense systems, including underground bunkers capable of accommodating substantial numbers of civilians. For instance, in Switzerland, The Swiss government has mandated a network of public shelters designed to protect a significant portion of the population during various emergencies, including nuclear war. Sweden's civil defense strategy includes a system of bunkers and shelters that can be activated to protect citizens in case of conflicts or natural disasters. And Russia's extensive Metro 2 system reportedly consists of underground facilities that can shelter government officials and civilians in the event of a crisis. But perhaps the most pressing criticism revolves around effectiveness. Yes, the continuity of government plan is designed to keep the government operational, but does it really stand up to the test? Critics point to potential shortcomings, from the logistics of rapid relocation to the ability of key personnel to make informed decisions under extreme stress. It's one thing to have a blueprint, but executing it flawlessly in the midst of chaos is an entirely different challenge. And let's not forget the evolving landscape of modern threats, like cyber attacks and unconventional warfare. Can a plan that originated in the Cold War era truly adapt to the complexity of today's world? Well, there you have it, folks. A glimpse into the criticisms surrounding the continuity of government plan. While it's undeniably a strategic masterpiece, it's important to scrutinize its weaknesses and potential pitfalls. We've navigated the depths of this strategy, uncovering its intricacies and even addressing its critics. Now let's tie it all together with a neat bow and reflect on why this topic matters now more than ever. So let's do a quick recap of our journey so far. We started by defining the continuity of government plan, that masterful blueprint for government survival in the face of crisis. We explored its historical roots, tracing it back to the height of the Cold War tensions, and then we delved into the importance of the plans, highlighting its role in ensuring government's continuity and decision-making capabilities. And of course, we discussed the mechanics, from the activation steps to the measures in place to safeguard against potential threats. But why does all this matter? Well, my friends, as we've seen, the continuity of government plan is like an insurance policy for our nation's stability. It's not just about ensuring that government operates during emergencies, it's about preserving the very essence of democracy and safeguarding the functions that keep our society functioning. In times of chaos, having a plan in place means that leadership isn't paralyzed, decisions aren't halted, and responses aren't compromised. The continuity of government plan represents a commitment to the idea that even in the darkest moments, the wheels of governance will keep turning, upholding the values we hold dear. As we close this chapter, I encourage you to continue exploring the depths of the continuity of government plan. There's a wealth of knowledge waiting to be uncovered, from historical documents to analysis by experts in the field. If you're looking to dive deeper, consider exploring the book Raven Rock by Garrett M. Graff. These works shed light on the historical context and the evolution of government continuity strategies. So, my fellow learners, thank you for joining me on this journey through the continuity of government plan. Our history is woven with threads of resilience and adaptation, and understanding this strategy adds another layer to the tapestry. Remember, history repeats itself, so learn from the past and be ready for the future. Keep those questions burning, keep your curiosity alive, and keep exploring the pages of tactical history. Knowledge is power, but action is survival. Stay tactical, stay prepared, stay vigilant. Please like, share, and subscribe if you got something from this video, and I'll see you on the next one.